Good evening, guys. Hopefully you can hear me. I can't hear you for now. Let me switch my speaker. Okay, so now I should be able to hear you, hopefully. Okay, perfect. So you guys can hear me, right? You can hear me and see me. All right. Guys, can you please tell me something or just send the... Okay, perfect. Perfect. Just double checking that I'm not muted and you can hear what I'm talking here. All right, guys.
I like your background view.
Thank you, Idar. I like it too. All right, guys. So today, what we're gonna do, because it's our last session today, like our last official live session. So as I said earlier, if you guys did all of your homework, we can send you like some of the videos from for API automation testing that we recorded before with our different group, but it's like a bonus, so you will need to finish all your homework first, and then just directly DM me, and I will send it to you. And I mean, yeah, as I said earlier, like if you want to get like if you want to get like certificate, or if you want to get like I mean references for these projects, like for the quizzes, our requirement is you need to like pass, again, you need to pretty much finish all your work, finish all the homework, and needs to be like, make sure it's actually checked and you have a grade. And after that, we will provide it for you. But today, what we're gonna do, because it's our last session, again, as I said, we will do algorithm exercises again. And we're pretty much gonna be back to our previous 4 weeks when we did like quadruped. So today we're gonna do the same thing. Okay, so let me create a board for you for Java, starting a demo. All right, so let me share it with you on the chat and also on the Zoom. Okay, so I shared my this link. Please join us. And okay, let me remove all not necessary steps here that we don't need. And okay, so just to warm up our brains, let's start with something simple. So let's start with like very typical algorithm exercise, like for, I mean, like one of the most asked, it's gonna be like a reverse string. So let's say you are given a string, right? So it says like string str equal to, I don't know, like a test pro, like, for example. And you need to reverse it. You need to reverse it, and you need to print it from backward. So it pretty much should be ORP space TSET, right? So I mean, pretty much very similar that you guys did with palindrome. So you just need to reverse it. And you can, I mean, because it's a quadruped, you can feel free and start type your code. And we can review, and I can give you like a feedback right away after that. I think Evgeny, when he passed, when we had an interview recently with Amazon, he told me like he actually was asked this question, and for some reason he said he forgot about it, like how to solve it, and it was really funny. And I said, okay, so I hopefully you guys won't do his mistake. You will easily solve this problem. Okay, so I see some of you already typing. You guys can actually type your name above your code so I can see like who is actually typing. Okay, I see Mary. I mean, this is like very simple task, which basically, I mean, like if you will get this task as an interviewer, he just want to know like if you're familiar with programming at all, if you know like how Java works, like simple stuff. So okay. So you see Vladimir's solution here. Okay, I see. Okay, we have 7 people here, and why only 3 of you are typing something? Why don't you guys want to try? Okay. Okay, I see. So Vladimir, are you done? So it looks like complete. If you are done, we can try to run your solution.
Okay.
Oh, perfect. All right, so let me do this. Let me copy that and let me run it in my IDE, in IntelliJ IDE. So I'm not gonna like block any other that you guys work while you're typing. So let me create a new, let me create a new Java file here. So it's gonna be new, wait, why, oh yeah, because I need to type here, Java class. Exercises class. Okay, let's not add it to the repository. Let's try. So, okay, so I need to say type here public static void, right? So otherwise I won't be able to run it. Static void main string args. And so let's copy my string here. And let's try your code here. And let's print it. Okay, so what does it? So why it complains? It says it doesn't know what's the length method. Why? Because actual it's a string. Wait, it's a string length. Let me try something here. I think I don't
The
see
spelling mistake?
spelling.
Huh? I think.
I mean, looks fine. So let's try.
Yeah, it was spelling mistake. Land. It was TH was misplaced.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yep. Thank you. I wasn't able to see that. Okay, and char, it's not chart, it's a char. I think it's.
Yeah, characters, but yeah.
I think you made something like that. Okay, let's try to run it. TestPro, perfect. Nice job, Vladimir. And you did it first. Let's try others solutions here. But we don't have any other solutions, right? Okay, guys, let's, while you guys typing, let's actually take a look to the Vladimir solution and let's go one by one what he did here. So pretty much he didn't, I mean, he chose like one of the simplest solution as possible, right? That's you need to go with always. So pretty much he, using a loop, he just going through our given loop, what like from the backward actually. So you see he is a starting point. It's gonna be like the last index of this string, right? And he's going like a backwards, and by going in the backwards, he actually initiating a new string here and adding all of this like letters, right? And then he just returning it. I hope that makes sense for you. What do you guys think? What's a disadvantage of that? Like, how can you improve it? Or like any other things that you guys don't like here? It's the same question for you, Vladimir, as well.
Like, for example, I mean, definitely I could like input as additional, like for palindrome check, like maybe this is not like to this, but this is like additional.
It's yeah, but it's kind of out of scope. So right now we're just reversing a string, right? We're not verifying it's a palindrome or not. We just, I mean, you did your, I mean, you solved your task, right? So my question here, what's a disadvantage of the solution you guys can see and how you can like improve it? It's more about strings. I mean, how strings works in Java. If you guys remember our session related to string, I think it was week number 2 or week number 1 or something.
I think since it is string, I think you have to put equals. So you have to call equals. I mean, I think he did the right.
But why? Why do we need equals? We're not checking anything, right? We're just reversing it.
So you're reversing, but you're talking about instead to use for loop, we can use a while loop.
It's the same thing. It's, I mean, from performance perspective, they're gonna perform the same.
Okay.
May I ask you also, like, because when I was doing also in, it was showing me like a string builder class.
Yep, it's closer. So what's up with string builder class?
Yeah, basically, and then instead of just plus equal, it shows me like append actual chart. If this is correct, but I don't really get why it is better, but
okay. Yeah,
because
it was warm.
String builder contains inside the value. When you call string builder, it's already inside the value, the method, I think, something like that.
Kind of close, yeah. Kind of close, guys. Any other opinions? Okay, see the chat message here. Leng, I didn't understand your Imat, I didn't understand your comment here. Oh, you probably mean like I need about the spelling. Yeah, okay, guys. So here's the thing. So what's basically happens here, right? So basically, we have a string number 1, right? So which is this one string, and here we're pretty much saying our expected result, right? Our expected result equals to. I mean, we're pretty much adding new characters on the existing string, right? So pretty much what happens here. So it basically we have a string number 1, we have a string number 2, And in a Java, so when you combine strings, when you say like a string number 1 plus string number 2.
We cannot see this the screen.
Okay,
I mean,
let me include it. Oops. So it's in preferences, I believe. Preferences. Oh, where was that? I think somewhere here, right? Fonts. Okay, let's try 30, maybe 35. Apply. Okay, is it better, Maria?
I really cannot see where are you tapping. Are you tapping to the other like screen?
Wait, you guys don't see my IntelliJ ID?
We can see. Maria, it's not on a code pad.
So you guys can see my code.
Okay. I switched. Okay, you're on Zoom. Okay, sorry.
Okay, guys. Yeah, no worries. Again, so when we adding additional value to the string, right? So here, so what's happening is, so it takes the original one, and okay, let me rebuild it. So we have a string 1, right? And we have a string 2, right? So string number 1, it has like some spot in the memory, right? In the RAM memory. String number 2, it's because it's object, it has like its own memory part, right? So in our computer. So when we say like a string, number 1 plus string number 2, and we say like, actually, let me do it. When we say like string number 1 equal to string number 1 plus string number 2. So basically, instead of just adding value to the string number 1 memory, right? So it's actually create string number 3 and add it right there, right? Because we can't, strings in Java, they are unmutable variables. Do you guys remember arrays, right? So in arrays, when we set like integer, like int, when we say like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let me do that second. So do you guys remember what was the difference between integers and, between arrays and array lists, right? So in array list, we can't change the size, right? So the size is gonna be static. So we cannot add additional values to the arrays. But in array list, we was able to add like any additional values here. So for array, we actually, I think it's a comma here, yeah. So in array, we can actually work with these values, right? So we can change any values here. So we can change 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can replace values, but we cannot extract value from the array, right? Or we cannot add additional value to the array because size of the array, it's a constant, it's a permanent, right? So that's why we cannot add additional values. So what we can do instead, we can like initiate another array, right? And add like additional values. But again, the size of the array is going to be static. So the same thing for the strings. You can't actually add additional value to the strings using the same object, right? So in Java, what happens if you add additional value to the string, it's actually recreate another object. So this is like completely new object, even though it's called the same expected, but in the background, it's actually initiating new object, and it's just like adding new values from string number 1 and string number 2. I mean, this is fine, works, but because it's initiate new object, because we're changing the size of the string, right? So it's bad from performance perspective because your program's gonna work slower because of that. So, and as a solution, here, we can use like another type of the string. If you guys remember, we covered that briefly on the string session. So we were talking about the strings, string builder, as Vladimir, you said. So the string builder, it's actually, it's like more flexible. It's kind of the same thing as array list. String builder, you can change the size and without like affecting that and without initiating new string. So let me show you how you can do that. So reverse string number 2. So what you can do here, so instead of string expected, you can say string builder, right? Expected, and saying it's going to be new string builder, right? And on a string builder, what you can do I mean, exactly the same thing. So you can just say, where's that? Expected, right? And you can say append, and here you can say actual char at I, and return expected. Oh yeah, and we need to return as a string builder, right? And in this case, it's gonna be the same thing, but because again, as I said, in this case, it will add new values to our existing object, right? So here it's gonna recreate new object over and over again in this loop, and it's gonna run slower. So it's gonna take much memory, it's gonna take much resources, and it's gonna be slower. So this solution, because string builder is mutable, so you can actually change the size without initiating new object. And this way, it's actually going to be run faster, and it's kind of like more optimized way to do that. Does it make sense, guys, or I completely confused you?
Yeah. So we need to practice, but yes.
You just,
So there are
just remember, guys, I mean, this solution works.
There are lots of, yeah, but there are lots of like concept algorithms, lots of things to recall.
Yeah, guys, one more time. That's gonna work, right? So it still works, but it just takes much more resources than this solution. And that's the only difference. And one more thing, guys, one more funny thing about string builder. In a string builder, if you're gonna call it, right? If you're gonna call it and type that, so you can see what the methods are available, right? And here you can see here's the reverse method, right? And you can just call the expected reverse, right? And that's gonna be it. And just to pass, wait. So you need to say expected append our actual string here, and then return the reversed version, right? So this way is even more simpler because you have already built-in reverse method, right? But usually, I mean, if you will do that, probably on the interviews, they will tell you you can't use built-in reverse methods because it's kind of cheating, right? So you pretty much need to implement this reverse method.
May I ask you, like, for example, for parameters, you can use just string, not string builder. For parameters, like string actual.
Why not? Well,
is it better, or it doesn't really make any change?
I mean, well, for a string builder, you can pass a string as a parameter, so it will accept it. So you see here, using append, it's gonna accept this. It's gonna accept the string.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, yeah, because string it's an input parameter, and it doesn't matter. You can use a string still, because you see here, you're not modifying it, right? You're just initiating. It's gonna be your constant. So here it's fine, but because you're going to modify the string, that's why it's making it like more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So did you warm up your mind? Did you warm up your brain? So can we go to?
Yeah.
Not...
It's okay.
Come on, guys. You should have been. Okay, so let me create another board here. So I'm gonna. I don't want to erase your work here. So let me create another quadruped. So let's go. This was very simple. Let's go to the more complicated and interesting one. So let me create a new one. Let me share it with you everywhere. And on the Zoom chat as well. Okay, so now let's do following, right? So let's assume here we have an array, right? So we have an array of integers. Int array equal to like 3, 2, 4, 5, 6, 5, 7, 7, I don't know, like 8, 9, right? So we have like some random, array list, right? And what I wanted to do, so what I want you to do, I want you to create a method which basically will print all the duplicated values on the array. Make sense? Print duplicated integers from the array. Okay, let me return it. Make sense, guys? Let me actually check if I can. Okay, I can zoom it in. So we have array, and I want you to print all duplicated values from this array. Any idea, guys, how you would do that? And again, as you remember, as I said many times, like 80 or 90% of the algorithms that you're going to use on the interview, they are solving using the loops. So Imad thinks if statement and for loop needs to be used. Yeah. You're on the right track, Imad. Guys, your method is not supposed. I mean, it may not return. It may have a void return type. It doesn't matter. So you can just print it inside the method. Also, we're going by index and array lengths. Yes, we're going by index, Imad, but there's no array length. I mean, yeah, kind of. You're on the right way. Okay, any other thoughts, guys? Don't forget -1. Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, here it doesn't really matter. Okay. So, okay, I see more people are typing. Okay, I see someone's already building nested for loop inside a for loop, right? Okay. Interesting. If numbers length equal to 0, return 0. Yeah, like a nice self check here. Okay, let me reshare my screen for 1 sec. Let me take a look to my notes here. Okay. Okay, see Natalia almost done. Good job. And someone here. Okay, so most of you pretty much doing the same solution, right? That's nice. Okay, guys, let's do following. So Natalia, are you done?
I think so.
Okay, let's try. I think so too. Let's see. Let me create another Java file here, and let me call it as a, I don't know, exercise 2. Okay, so let me copy my void main method here, and let me paste it here. Okay, so pretty much, well, the only thing is integer array. You will need to pass integer array here, right? Or I mean, simplest solution, we can just pass it inside of your method. Okay. Yeah, you guys can see my screen probably. Let me share it. Okay, so now you should be able to see that. Okay, so it says it doesn't recognize integer array size method. So
length, right?
Yeah. Length. Okay, so what Natalia is doing here. So she is going through this array. Can you, Natalia, describe what you're doing here?
We are using nested loops.
Mm-hmm.
And first, we go to in array to check all the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Then in a nested loop, so we kind of compare the numbers. So we want to find out if there are duplicates in the array.
Okay, so you're pretty much taking this like the first number and going with that, like for all of the rest numbers, right? And if they're equal, you are printing them.
Yes.
Then going using like 4, and you're comparing with like other ones, then using 5, then using 6, then using 5 again, then using 7 again, then using 7 again. I mean, and so on and so on. Okay, let's print. Let's try. Okay, it didn't print anything, right? Why didn't print anything here? Let's see, because I didn't call your method, right? That's why. And it complains because I can't call non-static methods inside of the static method, right? Do you guys know why I can't call non-static methods inside the static methods?
Yeah. Yes.
And why?
So if is void is not accessible to the object, that's why you need to call static.
Yeah, exactly. Because to static methods, I don't need to create the object, right?
Yeah.
And,
So for static, it's accessible for everything. But if you put to void, you need to call the object. So I think like you could have called int array that Natalia, even though it was in void, maybe.
Yep. All right. So let's see here. So I mean, it's printed 5 and 7, right? And that's it. So let's try another test case. And let's say if we have 3 duplicates, what's going to happen here? Okay, so if we have 3 duplicates, it's actually going to print 5 3 times, right? Okay, Natalie, how can you optimize it? Like, let's say I don't want, I mean, I want to know only numbers which is duplicated, right? So, I mean, it prints 5, which is fine, but it prints it all the time when it's appeared here. Or let's say if I have like a 7 here, right? So probably it's going to be the same thing. Yeah. So in this case, it prints it like multiple times. But let's say I don't want it. I don't want that. I want it to print only one time. So how can you optimize that?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Okay, so here's my question. So it prints numbers, right? So it's fine. It prints 5 and 7s, but I don't want it to be printed multiple times. I want it to print it by only time. I mean, I know it's 5, right? I don't need to be printed 3 times 5 and 3 times 7.
You take out of the loop, no?
How I can do that?
And maybe I'm mistaken, but maybe just like the system out println, just take out of this loop and just lower.
Continue or break when we do the loop?
You mean here?
No, I'm just asking.
Okay.
So you want to print just one time the number. So the result will be like, number 5 is the number 5 and 7 are the 2 numbers that are duplicated, right?
Yeah. I want to know only duplicated numbers. Like here, it's printed like.
Can we like remove duplicate?
You have to go through the loop because you have to compare 2 numbers. And then you have to do something inside the system out print line, I think. I'm not remember, but it's something like after the if method. So if int array is equal to do, you have to do something. Give me get one value, something like that.
Didn't quite get it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah. Okay, Vladimir, what is your thoughts?
I was just thinking maybe we just can, if we can, like just add some additional like method or like functions that just to remove like duplicates after we extract all duplicates to remove those extra duplicates. Yeah.
Yes, but do you guys remember what was the issue last time when we did something similar, right? When we change the size and change the values, we pretty much, I mean, yeah, we can do that, but what we can do here, we can actually initiate like a new variable, right, for the array list. Put it like all the like, I mean, we can add like additional if-else statement. Okay, it will be easier for me just to type it and then explain. So let's say we have a list, right? We have a list of I don't know, integers, right? And let's name it as a list one. It's going to be new array list, right? And what we can do, instead of just printing it here, we can just say, I don't know, like list, right? List, add your variable here, but it's not going to solve, I mean, and print it right like after the loop, right? For example, system out println, and just print that here. Right, so if I'm gonna run it, so what's gonna happen here? It's gonna be no difference, right? Because this is the numbers, but we can say, well, we can add like one more if-else statement. We can say if like this value, actually list one contains this value already, right? I mean, if it doesn't contain it, so we can add it here. Okay, let me run it one more time and see if I didn't do any mistake here. Okay, perfect. So again, what I did here, I just add like one additional check. I said like, if this value, right, from integer array by index I is, I mean, I have an explanation mark which is saying not, right? So it's the opposite, doesn't contain this number, just add it there, right? And every time when there was like duplicated, it just didn't add it, it just ignores it. Right? Makes sense, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, as Chris said, basically if current element not equal to previous element. How else I can optimize it, right? Guys, if I don't want to use this, I mean, if else. What else I can do to optimize it? You need to remember our week number 4, where we covered array lists, right? Different type of data structure.
Hash map.
How are you gonna use hash map?
Yeah, well, hash map is more about like key, unique key.
Yeah, it's actually, sorry, Marie, someone already answered. Yeah, it's a sets. Imad, he was the first. Dmitry, Chris, you guys all are right. Sets, right? So we can use sets. Do you guys remember what the sets is? What's the difference between sets and the array list?
It's only unique values.
Exactly. So this is only unique values, right? So instead of list, we can just use set, right? And it's not going to be array list, it's going to be, so what's the right name? Hash set, right? Hash set. And we can remove this if else statement. Guys, what's the error? What's going to happen if I'm going to try to add duplicated value to the set? Do you remember?
It will not give you error because set by definition cannot give you any duplicates. And I remember that because I was talking with the developers.
Yeah, exactly. You don't get, you will not get any errors, right? So it will just, if it's duplicated, it will just ignore it, right?
And I have to explain that to the developers.
Yeah.
Because he said, I was wrong. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Just, you have to review some.
Yeah, so I mean, in this case, it will just don't add it because it's duplicated. Cool, guys. Yeah, I mean, Anyway, good job, Natalia. You already covered that instead of just like simple edge case. Okay, so and one more thing, guys. Usually on the interview, let me actually go back here. So string builders. Okay, let's do it here. So let's assume we are on the interview, right? And if you're like doing algorithm questions, you kind of like more on the, you kind of like acting more as a developer, right? And what the best practice may be for the interview, it's like when you start, if I will ask you to write, like, do you guys know what the unit test is?
Yes,
And what's the unit test?
we use that on for kiddos. The unit test is like the test we do while we run our test. We test, but it's a single one. It's not collective.
Didn't quite understand you, Marie.
You mean like unit test, like what is the main goal of unit test?
No, what's the unit test? What's their testing?
No, it's just to test the code.
Yeah, we test the code, but
Yeah,
it's one time for one method. It's not for everything, just for one test.
Exactly, guys. That's what I wanted to get. And let's say instead of void, we can say it can return set, right? And it's gonna return this value. And let's say I want to create unit test for this method, right? So how can we create unit test, guys? Any ideas? How developers create unit tests? Try and catch? No. It's, I mean, hint. It's the same thing as UI test, but they are unit tests, and I mean they're simpler.
JUnits?
Why we can still use TestNG?
Really? Because I did JUnits for test methods.
Testing. Again, Natalia, JUnit and TestNG, they are very identical. TestNG is just a more powerful, right? But they are both the same test frameworks.
So, and then you have to call like, what is the public static, like the @ and then you say test.
Yes. Well, okay, let me just type it. So it will be like easier. So we can create like methods. We can create like a test methods, right? Okay, guys, so what's the test scenario for unit test you can think about for this method? So what we can check, like what kind of test cases we can create for this method? So we can create a list array with multiple duplicates, right? So this is like a test case number 1, right? So test case number 2, what's gonna be with multiple duplicates, and expected result gonna be returned duplicated values only one time, right? And test case number 2 is gonna be
the list should be empty.
Yeah, I mean, let's say without duplicates, right? So we can like we will go crazy like after that. And then test case 3 is gonna be array, empty array, right? Empty array. What's gonna be expected result if it's an empty array, guys? What do you think? Not from the implementation, but like, let's say we don't see implementation, right? Let's think about the requirement perspective. Like what's gonna be for, if you're passing empty array, what should happen here? I mean, it definitely should throw the error, right? It definitely should do something. It should return null. Maybe, I mean, I don't know.
true. There is a specific error message for an empty list, which is like true, not true null, is like true exception, I think.
I'm not sure. I wouldn't expect result to throw an exception here, because I mean, exception, it's not good for the program, right? It can crash your program if you're thinking as a developer.
0 then. If the empty array is list, there is no value inside, so it should be 0.
But if you return the 0, you're pretty much returning different type, right? So you can only return a set, right? We have a very specific type, like return type. So it's anyway, it should return a set, right? But it can return this empty set, right?
Sorry, empty set.
Okay, so let's create a unit test. So we can use our well-known testng annotation, right? Okay, let me close my Punto switcher here. And which changing my keyboard all the time. Okay, so it's going to be testng annotation here, and we can create new method and call like a test duplicated array, right? Duplicated array, and it's gonna have integer array, if name array, for example, right? Return type is missed. Return type is going to be void here because it's a test, right? We don't need to return anything as a test. And what's going to be inside of our test here? So it's going to be assert, right? Assert true, probably. And so here we can call the natalist method and pass our okay, so it cannot be applied to integer. Wait, did I integer? Oh, actually, you know what? Let me change that. So it says, oh yeah, you don't have like any parameters, right? So let me do that because we are hard coded here. Okay, so I passed it here, and it says Boolean cannot be applied to. Oh yeah, so because it's assertion, I need to specify any assertion condition, right? Okay, so if I pass this, okay, let's not use equal. Let's use let's not use true. Let's use equals. Equals. So this is our actual, and our expected is going to be let me actually type it here. Set. So we're going to return the set list, right? And the set list is going to be okay, and this is going to be okay. I already made it a little bit complicated, but that's fine. That's all. So it's going to be 5 and 7, right? Okay, let me not use at all here. Let's use just 1 by 1, 5, and let's add 7. So, and it should have 5 and 7, right? So in here we can use our list. Okay, let's run it. Okay, I messed up with something. Let's see what I missed, where I messed it up. So this is my integer if array, right? So this is my integer if array. So I'm passing it here. This is my expected result, which is a set. And it says required integer, but I didn't pass any arguments. Wait, where is? Oh yeah, it's not even here. Let's try. Just a compiler issue, guys. Okay, so it passed, right? So our unit test passed, but let's say what will happen if I'm not gonna add 7 here? Okay, it fails because, I mean, our expected is 5, right? Because I'm not adding 7, but our actual is 5 and 7, right? Makes sense, guys? And this is our unit test, right? This is our unit test, and developers, they are writing unit tests the same thing. I mean, the same way. They are just testing their individual methods, right? And they're just passing like a different input parameters and verifying the expected result. So in the have you guys heard about test-driven development approach, like TDD, test-driven development?
No.
Okay, who heard about test-driven development? Come on, guys. Most of you already working as a QA engineers. So you probably was on the tech world for a while, and test-driven development, it's kind of like what all developers trying to approach, and what's the like, I mean, not like every company works on test-driven development approach, but they're trying. Okay, no one? All right, so test-driven development, it's basically developers, before they're implementing their code, right? They are writing the test first. And after they're writing all the test cases, all the unit tests, only after that, they're starting to write actual code, right? So in this example, and in the interview, they might ask you to do the same thing. They can tell you, okay, can you write test first, and after you will finish your test, you can start to write your method, right? So in this case, you will implement unit test for your future method, right? So you will do that first, and only after that, you will do your, method, right? The actual method. So you will start with tests. So tests first, and then development.
I have one question.
Yep.
So what we have been doing is like we created the framework. So after we create the framework, so and then we implement the unit test inside the framework, right? But in the real life, so you create just simple test, you don't create a framework.
I mean, you will do that. It's a unit test. It's you're not gonna write any unit test. It's only for developers, right? Because I mean, guys, you're not gonna write unit tests. It's only for developers because I mean, you can see they are too simple for you, right? So you can do like more complicated stuff.
Okay. Because I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So
you don't need to do that. It's like for the interview, because on the interview they can ask you write unit test for the method that you just built, that you just created, right? Or they can ask you to create a unit test ahead.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay, guys. Do you have any questions about that? About unit test, test-driven approach, or anything? Let's pray they don't ask us that. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, unit tests are simple. You will do that. I mean, at least it's basically just calling the methods with different parameters, right? And using like assertion to assert output from this method. And that's pretty much it. I mean, this is very simple. Unit tests are the easiest thing to write and to develop. But I mean, you guys too smart for that. You will not do that. You will do like more complicated stuff like UI automation. I mean, I can tell you UI automation, it's one of the hardest thing to automate. API testing is much easier to do than UI testing. And unit testing is much easier than to do like API testing. So you are starting from the hardest part. And then if you want, you can like, I mean, become like a backend automation engineers, or maybe you want to become as that, or maybe like you will become a developer. I mean, again, but UI automation is like one of the hardest things to automate for sure. Okay, we're already out of time. Let's actually do one more algorithm, and let's go to the lead code. Okay, let's pick only one. Again, so best approach, guys, just sort them by acceptance rate. So you will see like what's the most easiest thing that you will have here. Okay, let's try maybe this one. Okay, given an integer number, returns the difference between products and digits on sum of the digits. Okay, so this is the input 234. The output is going to be 15 because product of digits like 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 4 equal to 24, and sum of the digits 2 plus 3 plus 4 equal to 9, and result is going to be 24 minus 9 equal to 15, right? Okay, perfect. So let me actually grab that. And let me create another exercise class. Exercise 3. And let me edit here and let me comment this out. And let me copy the main method here. Okay, guys, so let's say we need to create a method here which will accept the integer, right? Let's say 234, and output should be the sum of like multiply like integers one by one, right? And also it should be extract from the sum of digits, right? So if you will multiply like 234, it's going to be 24, right? And sum of the digits is going to be 2 plus 3 plus 4 is going to be 9. And we will need to also extract 24 like minus 9. And then, I mean, 15 is going to be our output. Okay, so Chris thinks I need to split it or convert it to the array and then do for loop. Okay. So Chris' solution is going to be like instead of, because this is the integer, right? So we will need to create array, right? And then doing for loop, just to multiply them and do sum of the like digits. And then it's going to be our result, right? Okay, yeah, we can do that. I can, well, what do you guys think? Is there like any easier solution for that?
I don't know, but just can we use like, and will it make sense to use a remainder and like, not to reverse this, but yeah.
I think like, well, I think like array list will be like, I mean, array will be the easiest solution, but as a simple, we can say, we can declare integer, like in n equal 2, n equal 3, and 1 equal 4, blah, 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 blah. And then you say product is equal to number 1 multiply number 3, blah, blah. Sum equal to the variables that we declared. And the result is equal to n1, the product of like the result of the sum of digits and the product of the digits, something like that.
I see.
Like n1 equal 2, n3 3 equal 4, n4 is 5, and then you say sum equal to n4 multiply 9 pi, and then I don't know, product equal 95 plus 97, something like that.
Mhm.
And then you can translate that, you can do that as like object-oriented method. So you do publish stat void solution, publish stat void product, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, yeah, I see your point, Marie. And let's think about this way, right? Let's say I don't like, if I still don't want to convert it to the array or to the array list. Let's say if I still want to treat it as an integer, right? So let's say I don't want to convert it. Like I still want to work with this integer, right? But I want to like split it on the integer without converting the array. And how can I do that? Okay, so I see your solutions here. So yeah, we can use math class, Chris, but again, in the interview, usually they are not allowing you to use like any external libraries, anything like that. They pretty much want you to create everything from the scratch. Dmitry, I still don't want to convert it to the string. If I will convert it to the string and then I will convert it to the integer, I mean, it's just, I mean, guys, in your algorithms, I mean, of course they should work, right? If they will be complex, that they're gonna work, it's fine. But another key, you also need to make them work more from performance perspective, right? So you want to make them fast and less resource without taking too much resources.
So you do integer product equal 0 because you don't have the result, right? Integer sum equal 0 and result is equal 0, right? Because you don't have like the value.
Okay, guys, I didn't quite understand your solution, Maria. So you can actually type it later,
Okay.
but let's actually go what I think. Maybe it's not the best thing. So let's create a while method, and while I would say while I is more than 0, and why I is less than 0, because I gonna extract it, right? So let's say so let's say reminder is gonna be I equal to 10, right? So it's gonna be integer. Okay, so I'm gonna divide it by 10, and I'm gonna get the integer, right? So after that, what I can say, product is gonna be multiply equal by reminder, right? And then I'm gonna do the same thing for sum, right? Sum plus equals gonna be reminder. And then I'm gonna say I divided by 10. Okay, let me, yeah, perfect. So, and then after that, what I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna say return, what's that? I need to extract this from this. Which void result? Why it's void? It should not void. It should return the integer, right? And let's try to print it here. Sort solution. And why it doesn't see solution? Because I miss my input parameter, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's try that. Maybe it's not gonna work. Okay, so it's 15. So let's try another test case here. Let's say 4421, and it's gonna be 21, right? It's gonna be 21. Okay, perfect. So looks like it's working. Okay, guys, so what I did here. Do you guys know what the reminder does, right? Like this like percent sign, what it's actually doing. Yeah, so it's gonna like get a reminder of the value, like let's say 441 over time. So basically a reminder for this, for like 4,421 is gonna be 1, right? Because it's gonna divide it by 10. So 1 is gonna be reminder. And then I'm gonna multiply 1 by 1 and 0 plus 1, right? And then I'm gonna divide I by 10. So in my next round on my for loop, my next reminder is gonna be 2, right? Because I'm gonna divide 442 by 10, and 2 is gonna be my reminder, right? And here I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna multiply 1 by 2, and in the sum is gonna be 1 plus 2, right? And then I'm gonna divide it again, and then it's gonna be 44, right? And the 4 is gonna be my next reminder. It's gonna be for this loop again. And then it's going to be just a 4, and it's going to be go for this loop again. And in this case, it's going to be like, eventually it's going to be like 0.4, right? Or something like that. And it's just going to stop. And then it's just going to return the product and sum. Makes sense, guys? Does it make sense for you?
Why integer product equal to 1? Where did you take this?
Because I'm gonna multiply it. If it's gonna be 0, I mean this line is gonna be always 0, right? Because if you're gonna multiply by 0, it's gonna be 0 all the time.
Oh, okay, good.
That's why.
What about you put null, like int product equal to null, or equal like string empty?
I mean, if it's gonna be string, well, it's gonna mess up because if you combine string and integer, it's not gonna multiply, right?
So that's why you just put 1 and not like null or string. Okay.
Yep. Makes sense, guys?
Can you solve this? I mean, can you solve this problem with polymorphism?
I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, again, guys, it's like that's my fault. If you can like, I mean, I didn't give you like much time to try it by yourself, but I mean, you can do that in elite codes, right? So you know where to get this exercise, and you can like practice as well. And maybe actually, let's try my solution here. Maybe it's actually will fail it, right? Because elite code is very, very
Picky.
picky. Yeah, this is the right word. And maybe there are some test cases that I won't be able to pass. Let's see. Yeah, you see, I already have a complaint here. It says it cannot find I. Yeah, because it's not I, it's N, right? N as a Nancy. Okay, let's try again. Okay, perfect. And so this is my input, it's perfect, and I passed all this. But I think in the lead code, what it should show me the speed, right? Oh, actually, you know, let me try to submit it. Okay, it says runtime 0 milliseconds. I think it's a bug because that's not possible. Okay. Usually it's throwing you how much time your script takes, and it says like this is like 100% better or 100% worse, right? So you can say this is my runtime and this is my memory usage, And in your case, guys, your goal is after you will solve this algorithm, you want it to be fast and you want it to be like less resources taken, right? Then you can like play around, you can optimize it, and you can see the solution and all of that. But here it says 0 milliseconds, but I don't really believe that because I think it should not be 0 milliseconds. But memory usage, 36 megabyte, I mean, that's probably true. All right, guys. I mean, again, it's on LeetCode and you can like play around. Maybe you will find something better. If you will find something better, you can like share it on a Slack and say like, hey, guys, found something much better than your solution. All right, guys. Do you have any questions for me regarding the algorithms? Okay. All right, guys. So let me do following. Let me actually commit this code because I always forget to do that on time. Where's my exercises? Lit code exercises. Let me commit it. Let me commit it anyway, and let me actually push it. Okay. All right, guys. So my code gonna be on the GitHub repository, and okay, let me stop sharing my screen. Again, as I said, this is like our official last live session. But again, you will have time to finish what you haven't done yet. So you will need to, I mean, again, to put the projects, and if you want to like use our project, and if you want us to verify that we're a potential employee, so what we require for you to finish all the homework. And the same thing for if you want to get certificate, you just need to finish all the modules, and you will need to like finish all the homework. And after you've done that, please reach out to Anastasia. She will be able to help with like certificates and all of the stuff. Yeah, so besides that, we have like one main Slack channel. It's like our TestPro Slack channel where all of our graduates from basic course, from previous automation course, we all like in one place, so you guys can share. I mean, usually people share their positions if they have opening positions, right? So they want to hire TestPro graduates, right? Or I mean, they can just, I mean, people just like talking about something related to QA or like to automation. Or there's also announces for our meetups if you're like in LA area. I mean, of course, now it's quarantine, like we don't do like any offline meetups, but I think we're gonna plan to do like one of the online meetups soon. I mean, all of this information TestPro related you can find there. I mean, after you finish all the homework, as I promised you, I will send you like our bonus sessions regarding the API automation. If you want to have them. Sometimes we also do like catch up with our graduates, like QA automation graduates or one general graduates. And sometimes I also do like kind of like in this format, algorithm solving questions with our students, with our graduates. I haven't done it in a while, but again, like announces is gonna be in our Slack channel. Okay, guys, so will we get certificate paper mail to us, or you have to, I mean, well, we will send you the electronic one, Chris. Then you can just print it as well, because our signatures are digital. So we usually just sending the electronic copy of that. Cool, guys. Yeah, it was, I mean, good luck with job search. I hope for you to find a job, your dream job as a QA automation engineer. And it was like, you guys were really nice group. You tried, I mean, participate. I really like to work with you guys. And again, we don't have like any plans. I mean, we don't have like any open days for the next automation course. But if we will, we usually allow our automation group to do it like one more time, as I mean, George did, right? And a couple like more people did here. So you can like repeat it if you feel you need to do that, or you like lost in some part. We are usually allowed to repeat it one more time. Yeah, we usually have like a graduation party as well, but because it's because of all of this coronavirus, like I don't think we will do that in this time, because I mean, we usually like did that like in like restaurants or somewhere, but right now I'm not sure if we will able to do that. Okay, where we can get the interview questions. Interview questions, they should be on the LMS. Chris, when we can get the junior bug hunter will begin? It's actually begun in end of the March, Chris. Didn't you sign up for that? I think you were signed up for a bug hunter. Yeah, the next one, I'm not sure yet. Yeah, guys, you can still ask questions on the Slack channel, but again, I'm gonna send you the invite for our main Slack. Yeah, please keep in touch. If you will have like any more questions, please feel free to ping me or just share on the Slack. Let's say if you have like some interview experience, I'm pretty sure like most of the students will be interested in that, and you can like share what's the questions you've been asked. It will be like very helpful for all the other students. And yeah, thank you for great words, guys. I very wish you, as Imad said, good luck with your career. Please try to apply for a job. I know it's like not stable time right now, but again, I'm pretty sure you heard about of like layouts, but majority of the tech companies, they are still hiring. And if you will check the resources, like the tech resources, you will see like a lot of people finding a jobs. I mean, one of my best friends, he actually found a job recently during this coronavirus pandemic, and he didn't go to the face-to-face interview. Like all of his interviews was online on a Zoom, and after he got hired, they actually mailed him his laptop. So the hiring process is not freeze. Still apply, still train, solve the algorithms, play around with the framework. I mean, and just go to the market. And I mean, I'm pretty sure, guys, that's your knowledge going to be enough to find your first QA automation job, because I knew much less when I just started to work as a QA engineer. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for the great works. Good luck. And yeah, wish you find your best dream job, and see you somewhere later, maybe. Goodbye, guys.